Hello everyone and welcome to Gremlin Lord Live, episode 21. Happy New Year's. It's our first YouTube Live of 2026, so Happy New Year. As usual, we have 4 movies to talk about here today, and if you're watching this as a VOD, in the timestamp, in the video description below, there will be timestamps so you could jump to whatever movie you want to watch. I suggest watching them all because, I'm fantastic. But just remember, this is a live video, so there will be tangents and there will be side conversations with chat. I did enable live chat replay as well, so you can go ahead and follow that along. Before we officially get started, I want to remind you to please like the video and possibly subscribe to the channel so we can continue to grow and bring you great things such as what we have going on here. I make 1 video a week, at least. Full-length videos as in longer form videos. We also do short videos as well. And then we do at least 1 live per month. So, let's talk about the movies we are going to be speaking of this evening. Those movies are Primate, which is a brand new movie currently in theaters. Genie, a 2023 film that's on streaming. The Dutchman, which is also a new movie currently in theaters. And Wicked for Good, which is not necessarily a new movie, but it is still playing in theaters, actually. As usual, I will rely on the audience to get us ready here to pick a film. I will go ahead and bring up my writing here. And then we can go ahead and get started. Actually, I already have a movie lined up here, so I think we'll just start with that one since we're a little light in the viewership at the moment because, we did just start. So it helps if I spell the movie correctly. Let's see, this movie released, I believe, tomorrow. That's funny. Yeah, officially it releases tomorrow. What exactly is that movie? It is Primate. Now, there you are. Yeah. Thug Life. Looks a little blurry right there. The bottom says good as gold. I don't know how much you can see down there. I gotta refresh my page because it's not even showing the video being on my end, which explains why I can't hear myself. There we go. What's up, Peyton? Let me turn myself down because I don't want to hear myself fully. So I figured that we can start with Primate, since that is the soon-to-be released film, since I got to see it in an early screening on Monday, part of the Regal Mystery Movie program here. I did not rate Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's weird. That was one of my favorite movies of 2023. Anyway. Well, eventually, one day you won't live with your parents, and then you can do what you like. That's always the goal. So the official description for Primate is: a group of friends' tropical vacation turns into a terrifying primal tale of horror and survival, which is not very accurate. So it's not really a tropical vacation. It's the character is coming home to her home. Her family lives in Hawaii. So it's not, this description is a little better. After returning home to Hawaii for summer break, Lucy, who's played by Johnny Sequoia, which sounds like a 1980s adult film star, but it's a girl, is reunited with her father, Adam, who apparently is an Academy Award winner. Oh, for Coda. That's a recent movie. Her sister Erin and their pet chimpanzee, Ben. Hawaii, did it bring back memories? No, they're on a small private island, I guess, which I don't think makes sense, but it's a movie. It was a very small island, and they lived on a cliffside. They weren't on Oahu or Big Island or anything like that. on one of the islands you can't even go to. I think was it Kauai, maybe? One of them's like, do no traveling, please. It's rated R, obviously, for strong, bloody, violent content, gore, language, and some drug use. You know, a few of my favorite things, of course. Rated R? Yeah, of course it was rated R. I mean, you got a chimpanzee murdering people in the movie. Good lord, it better be rated R. Yes. Now, see, people were really freaked out by the gore in the movie. I wasn't freaked out because I feel like I watched too many horror films, and I've seen more graphic horror films. So, to me, it's not a bunch of gore, but I feel like to a normal audience, it probably is. I mean, I don't know how many people die. At least 6 people maybe die. Yeah. At the end, when everybody's dead, he's whew, thought I was going to be stuck in there forever, and just walks off into the beach. That would have been one heck of a twist. I think this is the A24 movie, isn't it? Oh no, it's a 18 hertz production. This is not A24. I thought it was A24. I don't know. It doesn't look gory. Well, I mean, I think they're trying to like hide that fact from people because some people are really sensitive to animal gore, I guess. I don't know. I think of movies like Jaws or Cujo and things like that. Those are all animal-based horror films. So it's like, is it that strange to have a killer chimpanzee? I don't think so. Anyway, so why do they have the chimpanzee? They have the chimpanzee because Lucy's mother was a speech pathologist, I believe, or some type of scientist that has to do with speech, and she was teaching the chimpanzee sign language and how to use a tablet and all that stuff. And he's been with them since he was a baby. Recently, though, the mother passed away from cancer. So all that's left now is the father and the 2 daughters. The older daughter, she's off of college and she comes home, and the younger daughter is like a teenage daughter, and she lives at home with dad. Their father is deaf, as is the actor who plays him. So there is a big focus on sign language. There's entire scenes where it's just sign language with captions. So that's a neato thing. It's not completely new, obviously, because, you know, what's that movie called? A Quiet Place has the same thing. His name is Troy Kotsur. He's the guy who plays the dad. Yeah, sign language. I mean, it would make sense because the mother is teaching the monkey sign language. So, like, the dad can interact with the monkey. I don't know. The main thing is that the monkey is not CGI. The monkey is a person in a suit. Kenny Powers? I don't know what that is. I feel like we had the same question last time. But it is a person in a suit. It is, yeah, it is not CGI, which is good because if it was CGI, it would look terrible because this is a low budget film and having it in CGI would be not so great. Kenny Powers is the character from Eastbound and Down. Is he saying I look like this Kenny Powers character? Nah, man, it's thug life. Got my crew on my shirt. I just threw on the necklace for S&Gs, you know? Yeah, so it is a person in a suit. He is played by... Okay, so somebody does the voice differently. Miguel Torres Umba. He plays Ben, the chimpanzee. And I'll be honest, it's good that it's not CGI. Okay, it's good that it's not CGI. And I would say probably for like 85% of the movie, it's fine. Like, it's chimpanzee enough. Like it feels like you're watching possibly a slightly larger than normal chimpanzee. So, but there, that 15%, it does look a little goofy. I won't lie. There are times where he's sitting there and it just looks like a man sitting there, and it's like, oh, that's not great. Which I feel like would have been better if they could have had like reshoots or something to change that angle. But for the most part, it does look like a large, because chimpanzees are big, but they're not that big, right? You can carry a chimpanzee. This is, you're not carrying this guy. No one carries this chimpanzee. And it doesn't help that all the women in the movie, you know, are thin, skinny minis, so they all look even thinner next to the man-sized chimpanzee. I mean, he is short. Let me see if they have his height on here on IMDb. He's known for his like character effects and his he does not have a height on here. I would assume he's kind of short. Or maybe they filmed him kind of like doing Lord of the Rings stuff, like forced perspective a little bit. I don't know. But anyway, so he was fine. Ben is fine. I mean, Ben is not okay, according to the tagline of the movie. But anyway, did I jump? I did not. No, did I jump? No, I don't think I did. I'm like playing the movie through my head real quick. I'm pretty sure I did it. I remember I was thinking of We Bury the Dead. I jumped in that because of a gunshot. I don't believe I jumped in Ben. I didn't cry either. There was not much. It's very much a B movie, okay? It's very much a film that you feel it could be made in the 80s. It's not worth a watch. Where it's like, oh my god, a chimpanzee goes crazy and kills everybody. Like, that's what it feels like, just without that more fun, campy style. Like, it doesn't have that camp to it. Because all the human characters are, maybe because I'm older, they're kind of cringy, annoying, late teens, early 20s type of characters. You know, where they're just like, oh my god, let's party. Yeah, let's party the whole day. And it's like, ugh, gross. Yeah, chimpanzee attacks. More at 5. And it was just, oof. It's fine. I credit that to my age. People on IMDb were saying it's like Outer Banks acting. They're all like good-looking, tanned, fit young folks, and they're just kind of, you know, they're there at a party in the house. The dad went on a business trip, and then the friends are there. So you have the 2 daughters, whose names I don't even know their names. That's how much they don't matter in the movie. You have Lucy, who's the main character, and Kate, which are the older sister, younger sister. Then you have her bestest friend, which is I don't see her. Oh no, Kate is the bestest friend. I'm sorry. Erin is the younger sister. See, they don't matter. And Kate brings along a girl named Hannah, who is her friend, but not quite friend with Lucy. And then we get introduced to Kate's brother, whose name is Nick, played by Benjamin Chang. And it's just very, I don't know who, I've never seen him before. Oh, he has a Bachelor's of Science. He's a good looking guy. He's done 1 movie, and it's Primate. That's pretty exciting. This is his first film. Good for him. And basically just kind of what's that? 5 people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 people for this house party. They invite these two dude bros from the plane on the way over to the party as well, but they don't come until later. And God, they were obnoxious. But really, it's just Ben gets infected by rabies, as it's shown in the trailer, which is weird because Hawaii doesn't have rabies. Hawaii forces a quarantine of all animals coming in for, I don't know how long the quarantine is. I remember when we were going to bring my dog, he was going to have to be in quarantine for at least a month, maybe longer. And I wasn't going to do that to him because he wouldn't do well with that. So there isn't really rabies on the island. You also can't own a chimpanzee in Hawaii, but I digress. There's a lot of, not even lore accurate. How did he get it? He was bitten by a mongoose. I don't know if there are mongoose in Hawaii. I know there's not a lot of animals in Hawaii, like big mammals, because it's an island, and they didn't bring a lot of animals there. Like there's no snakes, so you're not allowed to have snakes because of the indigenous bird population. So there's no snakes allowed on the island, at least as far as I know. My data may also be outdated because I haven't been there in almost a decade and a half. So the crazy thing is like, well, I guess he kind of gets out on accident because he does have an enclosure that he stays in. He gets out of it. I won't tell you how. That scene was a little graphic. It was very in the beginning. It was kind of graphic there, so I kind of like that. People were not expecting it because it was so like a caretaker taking care of the monkey, and people were like, "Oh, okay." And then the next thing is like, and everybody's like, "Ah!" And it's like, yeah, people, this is going to be a violent film. Like, I hope you're ready for this. Oh, good heavens! I had no idea this was this type of film. This smut. But yeah. But most of the I love how I have so many typos. The chimp. Most of the effects are practical effects, so that is really good. I enjoy practical effects, especially for horror films. Like when you throw in CGI blood, it always bothers me because it never looks that good. Like We Bury the Dead had CGI blood, and it's like, 28 years later had CGI blood. It's like, So, what's that weird symbol? There's a weird symbol next to the word smut on your post up there, but it's not on my computer. So, anyway, yeah. So they do practical effects for all the body horror, maiming, deaths, and stuff like that. It's kind of like 60-40 with what you see. Like some deaths you see fully, like full on, they show you it. And then other scenes, it's like quick cuts, so you can't say. I always do this hand motion when I say quick cuts. Quick cuts and like shadows. It might be more like 50-50 rather than 60-40, to be honest. I'm running through the deaths in my head, and I don't know how that guy died. That guy died from that. I'm not going to ruin any of the deaths for you because that would be rude. But it's not even like a fun horror film. It's not even fun because the characters don't do anything. They don't have personalities. And no. I mean, enough people survive, I guess, to tell their tale. But no. I feel like the movie's more tame than like the Saw movies. I feel like if you watch Saw, you're gonna see 5 or 6 people get utterly annihilated by traps and stuff. This isn't as graphic, I would say, as Saw movies. In general, Saw movies. Because even some of those are more tame than others. But there's really no story. There's nothing going on. Like, they go there, they're having a party, the monkey gets out, and a lot of the film, as you can see from the trailer, is them sitting in the pool. That reminds me, I wanted to look this up before I started. I did not, because I am a loser. There's a little blurb at the beginning. Oh, look, a shooting in Portland. Hip hip hooray. Let's see. He's in fear of water. That's what I want. About having a fear of water as part of rabies. One symptom of rabies is a fear of water. The fear is caused by the patient's inability to swallow liquids as the muscles controlling the action undergo spasms that are painful. Interesting. I see. I've never heard of that before. When it showed on the screen, I was just like, "Really? That's a thing?" Apparently, it is. Well-documented symptom of rabies, particularly in its furious form. So they were hiding in the pool because he's afraid of water. But in the movie, the character said it's because chimps can't swim, which didn't make sense to me. And apparently, it's a lie. Chimpanzees can actually swim. So it might not be common for them to go swimming because of predators and stuff, but they can swim. So they're not very lore accurate in this film when it comes to chimpanzees and Hawaii. I just couldn't believe it. It was just so fake, you know? I just couldn't. I need more realism in my films. my films about killer monkeys. But yeah, so there's no attachment to these characters, and I feel like there could have been there could have been a even a slight emotional aspect to the film because Ben the chimpanzee is a member of the family, right? They've known him since he was a baby. He's known them his whole life. He was raised by their mother. He's the last part of, their mother that's still alive. Like, they could have really played up that angle. I'm not saying make it an emotional human drama. I just mean to give us some reason to care about this at least the family of characters. I personally didn't care about the family of characters because there's nothing there. I mean, all the friends are, friends. They're the chimpanzee fodder. That's what they are. Like, nobody cares about them. It's the core family that you're trying to root for and care about, but it's like, why should I care about them? Like, it wouldn't take much. You could have just did a little bit of emotional stuff with that. There's some mention of the mom and the sadness that they feel and stuff, but it's really fleeting. They go from like, I miss mom too. Let's have a party, yeah, and get drunk and high. So it's just like, okay, see you, mom. Thanks for the memories. So I really think they could have given the audience something that way because there are like the tiniest split-second moments where they like show a close-up of the chimp and a close-up of Lucy, and they're just kind of like they're remembering each other or something. But it's not really that. She's looking at in horror at him, and he's just snarling. Like, you could have just made it a little bit like just something to make it seem like it's hard for her to attack the monkey back. You know what I mean? Give us something that makes it feel a bit sadder to it. Because horror movies usually have a lot of themes of grief and things like that. Just something else. But no, none of that. I was genuinely like bored while watching it. Like, when the kill stuff was happening, I'm like, okay, cool. But then everything else was just, oh, okay. And in typical tropey horror films, the characters don't do things that make sense. Which I feel like in this day and age, you can have a couple characters, maybe one or two, who are stupid and don't do anything, but don't have the whole cast do anything. I wasn't bored though. I was bored. There was a lot of like slow moments where nothing was happening, where the characters weren't even planning to do anything. They were just treading water in the pool. Yeah, it's disappointing. Like I said, you could have had some of the emotional aspect to fill in some of those dull moments, right? Oh my God, I can't believe Ben. You know, he's like a member of our family. Like you could just say that. Oh, that's true, and make the audience remember that situation. Or here's what we should do. We should do this and get this as a weapon or something. Like no, they don't do that either. Their concern is to get their phones so they can call for help, which makes sense. But it's like no one's fighting back in this film. And I think it's really weird. There is a distinct lack of fighting back. Like the characters in Jaws fight back a shark more than these characters do fight the chimpanzee. And I thought it was super weird. Like you're in the house and you're getting your phone, the kitchen's right there. You know, grab a knife, a fork, a pot and pan, grab something you can use as a weapon. Nothing. You know, like not a book or a remote control, nothing. They're just like, oh, he's here. And then they run away. And it's just like, I'm going to need you to try to have survival instincts. Please have survival instincts. No, chimpanzees are fast. And they can climb and do all that stuff too, which they do showcase that in the film, which is great. But if you're talking, but there were situations where the chimp wasn't there. And they have like 4 minutes of chimpanzee free time. And it's like, the kitchen's right there. Just grab something, like a knife, even a butter knife, I don't care, a meat tenderizer, something, please. And they just never did. It's so weird to see characters not even attempt to do anything back. And because even in like movies like Terrifier, where Art the Clown is invincible, or Michael Myers, right? Jamie Lee Curtis's character in Halloween takes a wire hanger, twists it into a point, and stabs Mike Myers in the eyeball. And this is a teenage girl in the 1970s, you know what I mean? Like, she did that. And these characters just aren't doing anything to fight. And I thought that was really weird. Is that Philippines? Sorry, I don't know. I'm not aware of my worldwide flags, but also hi. Cabrón Español. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, but you know, we're talking about Primate, the horror movie that comes out tomorrow that I saw on Monday. Yeah, it was really weird that nobody wanted to fight back. And I don't know if they did that because they didn't want to show violence against chimpanzees or something. I don't know. But it's not a real chimpanzee. So, beat them up. And I feel like I'm in the minority. I feel like people are going to like this movie a lot more than I did. I've been seeing a lot of really positive reactions to it. Yeah. Yeah, guys. I have 300 some subs and I get access to all these films early. But people really enjoyed it in my theater, and I feel like they were laughing at stuff. Well, it's not only younger people though. People like, this is classic horror. This is awesome horror. And I'm like, I don't know. Everybody has different tastes. So for me, it didn't speak to me because I just didn't feel anything for the characters. I was just waiting for the next kill to happen. You know, there's no planning, there's no emotion, there's no connection, there's no reason to care about these 20-something-year-olds who are drinking and smoking. Like, I guess it could be a turn off your brain type of film, but even then I feel like I'd be bored. Because, you know, I enjoy goofy movies. I enjoy, you know, campy things and things that are so bad they're good. And that's not a foreign concept to me. It's just, this wasn't so bad that it's good, it was just boring. I feel like I said this, I think I said this before. It feels like a movie you would put on at a party, like in the background, and people will watch the beginning, you know, and see some of the violence and stuff, and then they'll kind of go back to having conversations or whatever. And then when things start to pick up again, they'll watch some more of it. Like it's not a movie you're gonna. Like most people will probably sit down and watch. It's it's like a TikTok movie. You know, you watch bits and bits and bits of it because the other stuff in the middle is nothing. But I did like the practical effects. I did like the angle of the father being deaf. It was that did create some tension later on in the movie when he was there and he couldn't hear the chimpanzee and somebody else fighting behind him. He's sitting there eating pizza, and it was just like, turn around, but he couldn't hear you, and he couldn't hear them. So there is some positive things in there. It's just there's just so much crap in between. So that's just my opinion though. Like I said, people will enjoy it. So as for rating for Primate, I don't think it's a 5. I think 5 is actually a little too high because 5 is really middle of the road, and I think this is a little bit less than middle of the road. So I'm going to give it a 4.5 because I gave We Bury the Dead a 5, right? And that's a very fine film. This is fine, but it's not as fine. It's kind of lackluster to me. Don't let me persuade you from not seeing it, please. If you want to go see it, Prince. I know you love your chimpanzees, you know. If you want to see it, please go see it. It's just not for me. I think it might have a fairly decent run though. I think that it'll probably have some pretty decent numbers. Well, it won't have numbers yet because it's not out yet. Well, IMDb has its gross at $3,847. That's just from early screenings, though. Giddy, gory, good time. That's what these reviews are saying. Giddy, gory, good times. Ben is an absolute menace to society. But Ben is not a menace to society. Ben is a sick animal who can't get the treatment that he needs. Cujo as a monkey in Hawaii, 5 out of 10. Planet of the 5 out of 10. Michael Monkey Myers, 8 out of 10. Monkey with Rabies, 6. So, like I said, there's a good amount of violence in it. There's some good kills, but there's nothing in there that really is going to give it any type of staying power or anything that's going to be memorable. I feel like this is the kind of movie you would find in a Walmart bargain bin very easily. Yeah, it's definitely a party movie because then, you know, everybody'd be like, wait, this the part. That's so gross. Oh, you know, like that type of reaction. And then you go back to whatever you're doing at the party. I think that's exactly the kind of movie it's going to be. Or people in the movie theater doing the same thing. Like, enjoying that type of community experience. Well, I don't want to say people are drinking. Not all parties have drinking. Okay? Jeez. Some people are sober. I am not. Look at me. Fixing my waistband. That's funny. I can't get the angle right. I really just wanted you to have, like, this. But I can't. But yeah, so 4.5 out of 10 for Primate. Because I just wasn't impressed. The practical effects are great, but it's just not enough to make me really ever want to see the movie again or even buy it. Like I couldn't imagine spending more than like $8 or $10 on this movie. Like as a physical purchase. I wouldn't be like, oh, gotta get that. you know, no thanks, no thanks. Yeah, it's like I said, it's entertaining in a certain way, and me sitting in a movie theater alone is not that certain way. I feel like if I was at a party and I got to see that movie for the first time at a party, excuse me, I might like it a little bit more because I'd be like, oh yeah, that was a crazy scene, you know. But and then you can make fun of the characters doing stupid stuff the whole time with your friends, or you can make fun of them for not fighting back the whole time with your friends. But when you're sitting there alone, you're just kind of like, what are these people doing? Where are the survival instincts of humanity? Please do something. Anyway, Primate 4.5 out of 5 comes out tomorrow. Wide release. So if you want to see it, go see it. It's currently sitting at a 6.1 from 890 ratings. Okay. What movie should we talk about next? We still have Genie, The Dutchman, and Wicked for Good. Oh, the same guy who did this, he did Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. I hate when the page just stops loading. He also directed one of the segments in VHS 99 and 47 Meters Down, which is a shark movie. The Strangers Pray at Night. Welcome to Raccoon City. What is that? Was that the TV show? Or is that really awful movie? Wicked for Good. Okay, we can do Wicked for Good. I hate when web pages just don't load. Like, can you please load? I'm trying to see what this movie is. Yeah, I think it's that Resident Evil movie that people really hated. So good on him, I guess. All right, Wicked for Good. Now, obviously, Wicked for Good did not come out this year. Not that it has to come out for us to review it, because I review anything. Oh, they have the font is green on the webpage. That's fun. Pacing suffers. The pacing is a little weird in the movie, actually. Worst performance of Michelle Yeoh ever. I don't agree with that. Anyway, when did this come out? November 21st, and it's still playing in theaters. So that's crazy. That's really crazy. It's rated PG, I believe. 150 million budget. It made 147 million opening weekend. Right now it's sitting at 520 mil. If you don't know, this is a sequel to Wicked. It's the second part of the musical. After challenging the wizard's totalitarian regime in Oz, Elphaba must grapple with her identity as the Wicked Witch of the West. Meanwhile, the wizard has given Glinda the title Glinda the Good and a public status as the nation's defender against Elphaba. The two witches must make decisions that seal their fates in this second musical installment. For good. My main issue with this movie is the same issue I had in the first movie, is that they don't get into enough of the totalitarian regime. Like, I want more reasons why. Because, I mean, Jeff Goldblum, I think, is really good as the wizard, and I think he's really good at, like, hiding his hidden intentions, and he's goofy, and he's, you know, like that kind of guy. Like, I think he's good at that. I just wish they kind of gave him more of a reason other than, well, we need somebody to blame, you know? Like, okay, you need somebody to blame. Great. I want more from you. I didn't write anything about this. This is all going to be ad-libbed. Yeah. This is my second time seeing it. I saw it, I think, in December as well, and I rewatched it this time. Yeah, I didn't find it as emotional this time. I did re-listen to the soundtrack separately on YouTube um, before watching it this time, so I can get a better understanding of what they're actually saying. Because I have a really hard time discerning lyrics from music in a movie. Some type of auditory thing where I just can't. But once I know the lyrics, then I can hear the words much clearer. So it definitely helped me to watch the lyric videos. I don't think it's a bad sequel. I think it's a sufficient sequel to the first movie. I mean, the first movie is obviously more popular because it has all the more popular songs in it, and the very famous riff of Defying Gravity, and it's more lighthearted. And this one feels a little rushed, like they're just trying to tie up all the loose ends. And especially when you go from like, you know, Fiyero and the wedding, and then Fiyero having relations with Elphaba, and then it's like boom, 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 and it's like whoa, buddy, calm down. I did feel like Fiyero had like nothing to do in that movie. He sang he sang along with Elphaba, that's it. And for the world's sexiest man, I expect more for him. Okay. I expected more. Plus, I think it would have broke up all of the very, I don't want to say heavy female vocals, but it would have given us more variety to what we're hearing. I mean, Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, they're perfectly good at these roles. I think Ariana Grande singing is definitely different in this one. She's not as, you know, high pitch. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, like whimsical singing, because you know she's going through the emotions in this one, so it's much more grounded in her singing. And my jaw keeps popping, and it's very obnoxious. Cynthia is fantastic. I mean, they both are fantastic, but Cynthia is, she's crazy good. She's crazy good. I like Jeff Goldblum singing. He's a different style of singing, obviously, you know. And with Michelle Yeoh, I know she's getting a lot of flack for her singing, and she knows she's not a singer. She told John Chu she is not a singer. He wanted her in the movie regardless. Yeah, I mean, well, so like Jeff Goldblum singing is jazzy scat spoken word singing, right? Like that's what that's what he does. Like he's released albums. Like he makes music. Like that's what Jeff Goldblum does. So he is an established musical artist. Michelle Yeoh is not. And I agree. I don't think she obviously doesn't have the musical talent to sing. And I agree a different person probably would have been better in the role. But I'm not like hating on her or anything. She barely sings in this movie. Literally everything she says is kind of like a sing-songy thing. Like, the wizard is coming to save us. Like, she's not like trying to belt anything out or anything. It's very spoken word stuff. Like, it's very, I don't know. I think the people who are getting super upset about it are overreacting, because she doesn't have a song. I could see if she had her own number. So they gave her more singing parts in this? Good Lord, why would they do that? But like I said, I feel like if she had an actual song and she was singing about her, like her intentions or something with Munchkin Land or whatever, then okay. Then I would be agreeing with everybody, because that would have been pretty bad to have Michelle Yeoh singing that full-blown thing. But for her to sing 2 or 3 lines in a sing-songy word way, it's not my favorite. But it doesn't take me out of the movie or anything. Like even in the first movie, you know, the wizard will make you his grand vizier if you do good or something. Like, it's not that big of a deal. 'Cause I think she played the Madamorable parts very well, right? Her non-singing parts, her conniving character. I think she did that really well. She has all the hand motions. Yeah, if you make good, so I'll make good. You know, when she's making a tornado, she's like all that looks fantastic. Like, she's really good at that. It's just, you know, the singing part. I agree, the singing part's not great, but I don't feel like it's end of world stuff to me. So, especially since I don't sing. Jonathan Bailey didn't get much singing, and Bach didn't have a lot of singing. Other than singing, she's great, and she looks great. I did get sad when I saw Dulcibert again. I thought that was a really poignant moment. And I'm sitting there with the aunt, and she hasn't rewatched Wicked, the first one, so I don't know if she even recognized Dulcibert. It's not about fear. Shut up. He's the world's sexiest man. It's not his story. Fierro. But what was it about? A Dulcibert. Like when we were talking about the movie on the way home, she said, "What happened to that guy's face?" And I was like, "What guy?" She said, the guy who was romantically involved with the witch, the Wicked Witch." And I said, "The Scarecrow?" She's like, "No, no, no, no. The guy who she was singing to in like the trees." And I was like, "That's the Scarecrow. That's why he looked like the Scarecrow." She never connected those two. So I reminded her that when Alphaba was singing, you know, "No good deed goes unpunished," and they're showing like the black and white images of him getting beaten up and, you know, tied to the poles. She's like, "Yeah, I thought they were just, you know, tying him to the poles to torture him." I was like, "Well, they were," but she cast that spell when she was second guessing herself, and she was saying the words, you know, "Don't let him feel pain, don't let him die, don't let his bones break," you know, all that stuff. And she didn't know if it worked or not, but she made him the Scarecrow to do it because they don't show him until the end of the movie. So I was trying to explain it. She's like, "Oh my gosh, like that makes so much more sense why he looks like that." She's like, "I thought he was all bandaged up." I was like, "No, it's burlap. He's a scarecrow." It was cute. They barely showed him though. Wow, Prince, way to ruin the vibe of the stream. I have no idea what that comment is, but thanks. No good deed goes unpunished here. I'm giving you a great review and you're punishing me with spoilers. But yeah, I mean, because I knew he was going to be the Scarecrow because, you know, his song in the first movie about not having a brain and all that. We can talk about Coleman Domingo. Coleman Domingo as the Cowardly Lion. Who cares? I like Coleman Domingo. I think he's a fantastic actor. He's a good-looking guy. I love his sense of fashion. But who cares? Like when they said you know, the big shock of who's gonna be the lion, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder who's gonna be Coleman Domingo." Why is that so shocking? Like, it's not that shocking. It's very generic. I mean, he was fine. You know, he sounded like he was trying to imitate the Cowardly Lion from the movie, the 1930s movie, but you know, his part is so small and negligible as well. It's just like such hype over Coleman Domingo being a lion. Yeah, very much so. I mean, Bach went ham in this movie. Ethan Slater, Mr. SpongeBob SquarePants, Mr. Ariana Grande. He he did a good job. He like changed his voice too. Like he sang in like a the raspier lower registry when he was a Tin Man. I really wanted more singing from everybody, to be honest. Like, I wanted more singing from Nessa. Like, she sings like 2 lines. And, I mean, Jeff Goldblum had a song, so that's good. Yeah. I had to explain to the aunt a bunch of stuff about that. I mean, I've never seen a musical, but like how like Nessa probably has magic as well. Because I mean, she did keep them there, and then plus she read from the. I keep wanting to say the Necronomicon, which is the book from Evil Dead. She read from the Grimoire as well. So, plus she was the one who was going to Shiz originally, so she has to have some type of power. That's why she was going to Shiz. Well, not have to have power to go to Shiz, but she was going to Shiz. Yeah, I liked him a lot, actually. I liked him a lot more. Bowen Yang was in it. I liked how he got like some of the top billing, even though he's very much a background character. Miss Coddle's in it again, barely. I don't know. Shiz. They say shiz? Yeah, shiz. Cut that character out. Who? Bowen Yang? You want to cut Bowen Yang out? He's so campy. Fanny? I think his name, yeah, Fanny. He's annoying. I think he's supposed to be annoying though, isn't he? He's a sycophant. Him and the other girl, Shen. They're supposed to be the most annoying characters in the movie. They're groveling to Glinda all the time, basking in her glow. Like when she got those pastries, he's like, send them to my hovel. Like he took the pastries. And then when Shen calls her Mrs. Morrible, he's like, oh, Mrs. Morrible? She's not married. She's like, God, I don't know. It was funny. It's funny. He's like a mean girl. Him and her are just like the mean girls. They're the plastics. That's pretty much the whole cast stuff. It felt like a really weird film. Like, it really felt like we were jumping from like scene to scene, and there felt like there was a lot less transitioning between things. And I guess it's because, I mean, it's a play. It felt much more like a play this time, because you're going from, you know, Elphaba attacking this, and then boom, you're now doing this announcement about the Yellow Brick Road, and then boom, we're doing a wedding, and then boom, we're doing a swamp sex scene, and then boom, we're doing another meeting between the two, emotional thing, and then boom, like it just kept moving from like set piece to set piece, and it's kind of like incoherent a little bit. Like I understand that they have to fit in a lot of stuff, but I mean they're also adding stuff too, because they added those 2 new songs. Yeah, like a musical. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like a play. It's like a musical. Like you do the scene, and then, you know, the lights turn off on that side of the stage and turn on this side of the stage, and you're in the next scene. Like, but I do feel like they need something in there more to give it a bit more cohesion. And just some things didn't make any sense. Like when they showed Dulcibert going in the tunnel to leave, and then, you know, when after everything's said and done and the world's happy again, they showed Dulcibert coming out of the tunnel, and it's like, was she just sitting there waiting? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't make much sense to me, that whole aspect. It's just like, it's weird things like that. There's a lot of interesting shots. Do I think it's going to be a common thing? Oh, there'll be more movie musicals? I don't know. I don't pay attention to musicals. So, I mean, we've had tons of movie musicals recently. We just had like West Side Story, right? In the Heights. Let me see how really good I am with musicals. I can't remember them. Oh, Mean Girls, yeah, see? We're getting really into the whole musical thing. The Color Purple was a musical. That one I like though. I don't know. It's fine. Like, I'm glad I saw it, and I'll buy it on physical and everything. It's not necessarily my favorite. I feel like I enjoy the production of it more, so like behind the scenes stuff than the actual film. I cried the first time I watched it. I did not cry the second time. I teared up a little bit, I think, in the second time. But I didn't. I don't think I actually like cried. I did cry in the first. The first time I cried a bunch. I don't like the recliner theater that I go to with the aunt. I don't like it because we're in the back row, and we're still like, you have to recline so much to see the screen, and I feel like it's still a weird angle. Like the screen needs to be that way, but you're just too close to it. It bugs me. And then my mind is going the whole time about, oh, this is a weird angle. Oh, this is a weird angle. So, but no, I didn't cry the second time. It's really weird because it's nice that there's nice like leather recliner seats, but it's a slope floor. So like here's the screen, and then you get like row 1, which is entirely too close, and then 2, 3, 4, and 5, and even 5, you're still looking at the screen. Well, that's like my theater. My theater has good seats for like 5 or 6 rows in the bigger theaters. But that one theater I went to in North Carolina, they had the stadium seats. I can't do a stadium seat with my fingers, I'm sorry. But you know, the stadium seats. But the stadium seats were recliners. So each step was like, 6 feet wide because there was a row of recliners on each step up. That was the best because there was not a bad seat in that place. That was great. But everyone meant the one theater like that. So at least we didn't go to the other theater that I showed you pictures of that had the high school auditorium seating that didn't move at all. That would have been painful to sit in. Anyway, what else for Wicked? I mean, I do enjoy the music. I'm gonna go to the library, see if they have the soundtracks. If not, I'll just buy them myself. I feel like those are CDs I would want. I think I might buy Wicked on 4K in the Amazon sale. It's part of that. I've been waiting for it to go like fairly cheaper because I do want it in 4K. So, because I want that 4K sound. Good enough. It's still playing though. That's the thing. So it's been since November. And it's still playing. So it has to be making some type of money for it to keep playing. Like I know January is a dry month for movies, but it's still showing. It's even so. I can't believe you haven't seen it yet, Prince. I've seen it twice now, and you haven't seen it a single time. Go see it. So we can actually have a conversation about it. Jeez. So no good deed goes unpunished. There were a few revelations that I wasn't expecting. Like, I thought, well, I won't say that. I think that was a spoiler. I mean, obviously, you know who Jeff Goldblum is, right? He's the wizard. And in the beginning scene of the first movie, he gives it to Elphaba's mom, right? I thought that was like his plan. I thought that was his whole plan. Like his whole shtick was to, try to get magical people so they could read the grimoire. Well, I thought it was obvious too. The aunt didn't recognize that, so. But I thought that was his whole plan. I didn't realize that he didn't know. Like in this movie, he didn't know at the end, it's revealed to him who Elphaba is. And it absolutely devastates him. But I thought that was really odd. Again, I thought that's what he was trying to do. Apparently, he was just, being a horn dog guy from Omaha, Nebraska. I mean, it is obvious. Like I said, it is obvious that he's her dad. It's just, I thought he knew the whole time, or that he was trying to make babies, because he has a whole song about being a dad. So I figured that's why he was sowing his wild oats. Oh, really? I could see that. I could see Steve doing it. I've never seen the musical. I don't think I ever will. Hashtag sad. But yeah, that's Wicked 2. Apparently I gave Wicked 1 an 8. I think I gave it a higher score after watching it multiple times. One short day, I will watch Wicked. They play it all the time. But this one, I feel like I'm going to give it a bit of a lower score. It's fine, and I enjoyed it. I enjoy the music, and I'll probably listen to the soundtrack some more. That's why I kind of miss having Apple Music, where I could just listen to it instead of having to go to YouTube and listen to it. So it's like I just buy the CDs, and I can just import it and listen to it all in one go myself. But yeah, so for Wicked for Good, I'm going to give it a 7. I gave Wicked Part 1 an 8, and I think this one I'm going to give a 7. It's fine. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time with it, but I do kind of wish for it had a bit of a better narrative, and the pacing was more consistent, because I feel like the jumping around, which I understand is more play-like or musical-like, I don't feel like it was like that in the first movie as much, so it feels kind of stunted in this one. I did like the interpolations of the songs, when you hear songs in the first movie into the song on the second movie. Oh, look, you just went from second place to first place. Did you see that? You just went from second place to first place. Look at that. Finally. But anyway, I gave Wicked for Good a 7. 7 out of 10. I thought it's fine. I just think it had some more issues in it that I didn't like as much. I don't think I will. The thing is, like, I love movies, right? I don't care for musicals. Like, I'm not a musical fan, like, at all. Original for Good. So you're talking about like Chenoweth and the other lady? Menzel, Indina Menzel. Indina. Trying to do the John Travolta thing. Menzel. I mean, like, I've heard them sing and stuff, so it's just, I don't know, maybe one day when I'm old and gray, I'll make the effort to listen to it. We gotta get Hugh Jackman to be the wizard. Have another drink, my dark-eyed beauty. That'd be great. Wicked for good, 7 out of 10. Moving on to our next movie. Should we do The Dutchman or should we do Genie? Dutchman or Genie? Dutchman or Genie? It's good stuff. Dutchman. You don't care about Genie. I know this game. You pick things you want to hear about, and then you go home on the last one. How dare you not want to hear about Melissa McCarthy? All right, so The Dutchman, which came out, I think probably in the second. January 2nd, 2026 of this year. It's one of the first new releases of the year. Let's read the description for you. A successful black businessman, haunted by his crumbling marriage and identity crisis, is drawn into a sexualized game of cat and mouse with a mysterious white woman on a subway that leads to a violent conclusion. Rated R. It stars Andre Holland as Clay and Kate Mara as Lula. Those are the main characters. That's the black businessman and a subway white woman. It also has Stephen McKinley Henderson. He's been in quite a few things I've noticed recently. He was in Civil War. He was in Dune. I feel like he was in something else. Obsessed? I didn't watch Obsessed, so I can't help you with that. Negative Ghost Rider. And his wife is played by Zazie Beetz, who I believe is Domino in the Deadpool movies. It's sitting at a 5.3 on IMDb. Yikes. Yeah, she plays the wife. Any box office news? There's no box office news. Drama and thriller. I did write about this movie. So this is based on a play called The Dutchman and the Slave. Which is a 1963 play by Amiri Baraka. Who, and they had his, I'm sorry, I'm assuming it's a him. I don't actually know who Amiri Baraka is. I don't know. But anyway, they it says Leroy Jones, so maybe it is a man. Anyway, he wrote that play. And it had his blessing for this movie. There's already been a movie adaptation, I believe, so this is actually kind of another movie adaptation. It is very much a race relation movie. So a husband and wife, Clay, and his wife, Kaya is his wife, Zazie. They're in therapy because she cheated on him. Race. Yeah. Race. It's woke, man. This is a woke movie. It is a woke movie. She cheated on him and he's trying to come to terms with that. They don't get into why she cheated on him. They don't get into who she cheated on him with. There's like some flashbacks in his head of what he pictures her being with this other man. And I want to say it's a white man, but they don't really show him. It's all like desaturated because again, it's all in his head what he's picturing them cheating. She did cheat, but he's just picturing it in his head. And they show his face very slightly, but he's not really that important. It's just the guy she slept with. So, and he's having this existential crisis about it. So they're in therapy, and then the therapist tries to, once they're done and he leaves and she leaves, they're going to like a big banquet thing, but they're separated, but they have to go there to save face. The therapist tries to give him this book called The Dutchman, and he, refuses it. But then it kind of sets in motion this kind of like a supernatural thing where the therapist moves this little figurine onto a little stage, and then that's when like the whole thing just becomes this kind of like a play, but not a play. Like the whole world is a stage type of situation, and you kind of get into the whole supernatural aspect of it. Like, is this real? Is this not real? There's these little fantasy elements. Like at one point he's looking in the mirror, and then he turns and looks, but his reflection stays looking at him, which kind of freaked me out. Like, oh, like that's like some horror movie stuff. Oh yeah, it was very interesting. Like, I wish it was a little more interesting, but I wasn't expecting that aspect. I thought it was going to be just a straightforward man, woman on the train type of situation, but it isn't. Like, Kate Mara is unhinged in this film. Like, she just starts, like, she walks onto the train and she's just like, you want me? I was like, and there's like a thing with an apple, and she like pulls out a blade on the train and she's like cutting it and like offering him pieces. It's like, it's this whole very over the top situation, and it's very delves into that supernatural aspect of it. I don't want to spoil everything for you, but it's excuse me. I have meatloaf for dinner and it's trying to fight me. But it gets very existential, and I like that. I like when things are weird like that. Kind of like American Psycho, where things are like real but then not real type of situation. So I like that. It's a very kind of slow film. There's a lot of dialogue. It's a very character driven type of thing where the characters are just talking. He talks to Lula a bunch. He talks to his friends, and so basically he has relations with her, as I talked about in Discord. It is very PG-13 relations, if I'm being honest. He is fully clothed. She is still wearing her dress, doesn't take it off. There's no nude bits at all. Potential interbreeding. You mean like race mixing? Actually, one of the tags on IMDb says black man, white woman, sex. That's one of the tags on IMDb. This is rated R. It is rated R, sir. Oh, you know what? It is rated R. I think IMDb had it as not rated. Not IMDb, Regal. I went to go look at the Regal app, but I'm using my phone, so I can't look at the Regal app. Anyway, but yeah, it is rated R. But there's so many like details in there that I didn't realize, and it kind of surprised me. And it shouldn't have surprised me, because usually I'm pretty good at piecing things together before they happen, and it usually happens in movies when I'm very interested in the characters and I'm just kind of not thinking about what's going to happen next. I'm very in the moment. And that happened in this film a lot, because she blackmails him in multiple ways, and it's things that, like, duh, that makes sense. Of course she would do that. But in the moment when the actions were happening, I was like, it wasn't in my head that that's what she was doing. And then when it came up that that's what she was doing, and I was just like, duh. Because I was just so like trying to figure out what kind of movie this is. I was so involved in like, what is going on? What is happening? I don't understand. Like, what is this? And then she's just like, do this, or I'm going to tell everybody you did this. And I'm like, duh. Kind of succubus, I guess. But he is willing. I mean, she didn't like seduce him. Like, he goes through this whole personal struggle about not wanting to do it. She does, but she kind of eggs him on, and he second guesses himself. Like, I mean, I guess it's succubusy, but he wasn't like, like gun ho about it. She's very controlling. Who is this movie for? I don't think it's for men. It's funny because it was only white people in the audience. It was me, that one single guy, and the older white woman and older white man. And I was just like, this movie is about the black person experience. Like, this isn't a movie about white people. This is a movie about the duality of being black in America and being successful, and what it means to be black, and are you trying to be white by going to college, and the stereotypes that surround that, and like all that stuff about how you talk and how you dress and what you do for a living and all that. And then it's just, a bunch of us in the audience. So it's just kind of like, I don't think this was necessarily for me, but it's all stuff I know. I mean, obviously I don't experience it because of this, but it's all things I know. I mean, you could draw parallels to being a minority, such as, that, and what society expects of you and how you're supposed to act, and all that jazz. So you could draw parallels, but obviously that experience itself is not something that I have experienced. So I know I've been thinking about this for a while, trying to sound smart. But no, it's a very interesting film. I do wish it was a little bit more explosive. Like, I wish there was a bit more of, not controversy, but a bit more. I have to keep saying a bit more. That's how smart I sound. I don't know, so more oomph to it, because in the end, there's a lot of dialogue in the end, and where he's discovering himself and accepting who he is, and he's allowed to be this way. Well, it is supernaturally in his head kind of stuff. I'm getting there though. I'm getting there. I'm gonna finish this bit about the ending. But he really he goes on this huge monologue while screaming at her, and I really wish there was more interaction between the two, because at that point she's just sitting there and she's just like, being an angry white woman. And I'm just like, no. I really wanted some more back and forth to really have, so he can have this full blown catharsis of it. But I guess that's not really the point. So look at me, the white man, wanting more of the white woman in the movie. I get it. I am the problem. I just wanted more drama. That's all I wanted. And white women, they're always bringing drama. So that's what I wanted. But so he has his whole thing, and then the ending kind of makes it seem like it's all in his head or something, or it's a delusion or something. But then there's another like 10-second piece of the movie after that kind of like makes it seem like, wait, is it? There's like, so it's kind of up in the air. Midlife crisis? I mean, it could be midlife crisis. I mean, that's part of it. He's a successful black man. He's helping reform New Harlem or whatever, but his wife, who he loves, cheated on him, and now he's just kind of lost about who he is as a person. And then you have this white woman on the subway who comes in and's like, "You're not really a black man." She calls him a dirty white man because she says that he's trying to be white because he went to college, and he speaks a certain way, playing into the racial stereotypes, you know, that black people don't go to college or they talk this other way. So it's just, yeah, it's very pointed. And he still has sex with her after all of that. He still has sex with her. So it's this very, yeah, no, it is awful. It's very awful, but it definitely makes you, I feel like it's not as in depth. Like, I feel like my prior knowledge of things helped me understand things better than somebody who maybe doesn't have my prior knowledge, you know? Because, like, when I watched Origin, it was similar to that. There's themes like that that come up. And the classes I took in college as well bring up the whole race relations and all that. So there's a dynamic there that I understood more than I feel like anybody who just kind of walked into that movie. Just because they don't go in as much depth as I would have expected. Because again, I don't think it's made for the average Joe white dude. I think it's more to be, because what does it say? Do I still have it up? The Dutchman and the Slave. About race, identity, and the complexities of black and white relations in America. And this was in the 1960s is when this was written. Societal upheaval, the civil rights movement, and it critiques the superficial understanding of race religions by white Americans. So while he's down on his luck, the white woman takes advantage of him, basically, and tries to break him down, and successfully breaks him down. But anyway, so he it's not only on the subway. I thought it was going to be like a strictly subway type of thing. It's not. He brings her to a party because she blackmails him. He brings her to this massive party where he is helping his friend like run for political office, and his wife is there, and she's the only like white person in the entire party. And she's wearing like this slinky slip dress. Oh no, it's not only in the subway. Like, they're at this party, and she is a mess. She is like, there's no one else dancing, but there's music playing, and everybody's talking and drinks and food and stuff. And she's just like, ooh, dancing. And she's like, I thought your people loved the dance, you know, more racial stereotypes and stuff. And it was just so crazy, so crazy. It's super uncomfortable, and it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be super uncomfortable because again, he's trying to yeah, she says a lot of things like that. That's who she represents. She represents how white people don't understand race relations. So, oh no, my jaw dropped, and I did laugh. I was like, like, you know, like that meme. But that's what she represents. She represents the white ignorance of the situation. She views everybody as a stereotype. So she views them all as the good kind of people, you know, like, oh, you guys like music, or you guys like this, right? So it's very like that, but in a modern time frame. Obviously, it's not taking place in the 60s. This takes place during current times. So it is not a period piece. And I think that's even more important because it shows how the same stuff is still happening today that was happening 60 years ago in the 1960s. You know, so I think that's much more poignant to have it based in today's society. Let's see, I talked about that. There's some really cool cinematography in this, as you would expect, because like I said, it gets into that supernatural stuff, so there's a lot of weird angles here and there, and these really cool shot compositions. And it gets really trippy as far the further the movie goes along, because he's like losing himself deeper and deeper. It gets less trippy when he starts getting his footing. But oh yeah, it definitely still happens today. So, like I said, as a minority, you can draw parallels to your own experiences with expectations. There was one scene in particular that almost threw the computer, drop a chapstick, that the music immediately made me think of The Shining. Immediately. The guy opens the door, goes in it, and it just sounds like the DVD kind of sounding Shining music. And I was just like, that's so crazy, because immediately in my head pictured The Shining. And I really liked that. I did notice a couple little details that I think that I could put on IMDb as little Easter eggs, quote unquote spoilers, probably. There's not much on there. The movie is rated R. It says it has severe sexual content in it. We talked about this already on stream on Twitch. It did not have severe content. As I said, the romance scene was completely clothed. Nobody was naked or anything, and you don't see anything. There's discussions of sex, but there's not any depictions of it. It showed a used prophylactic, but again, it's not that extreme, you know? Let's see, the blackmailing, talked about that. Condom. Definitely not for conservatives. I had that written in my note. Definitely not for conservatives. The ending does fray, though. I talked about that already, too. I already talked about all this. Gremlin. I think that's really it. There is a line in the movie that I do want to bring up, because the guy's name is Clay, okay? And he's told by another character that he needs to be the man that's inside of Clay. And like on the surface level, you would think to be the man that's within himself, right? Because his name is Clay. He's Clay. But there were commentaries earlier about how some black people like him, as what Kate Mara believes, or Lula, sorry, what she believes is that he was molded to be more white. So that would make him made of clay, like a sculpture. So then he would have to be, so in that line, be the man inside of the clay, you have to be the man inside of that sculpted version of a black man. So he would be his true self instead of whatever he thinks he has to be to fit societal norms. So I thought that was a really interesting thing, because they don't explicitly tell you that, but in my head that's what I was thinking. Oh no, I do like Kate Mara. She looked not great in this. I think she's supposed to look weird. I think she's supposed to be kind of skanky. Her outfits, I did not like her outfits at all. Like, I don't like the dress that she's wearing, her little sundress that she's wearing. I don't like her dress she wears to the party, the little slip dress. So, but I think that's the point. Because it's like, who was she to say how other people are, you know? Like, who was this random person to tell this guy who's, you know, highly successful, well put together, well dressed guy who he is, when she looks a hot mess herself. But she plays the crazy very well. She does play the crazy very well. The movie just went in a direction I wasn't expecting. It's like when I saw The Substance and I was expecting a psychological thriller and ended up being a complete body horror show. This is similar, where I wasn't expecting it to take this supernatural angle that it did. But I'm fine with it. Like, I liked it. It's a good movie. It's definitely something I would buy on physical. I just don't know who would want to watch it. You know, I don't know who I could recommend it to. Like, I don't have people who would watch it. Like, the aunt would not watch it, because it's like too tense, I feel like, for her. Although she did love Origin. There is some violence at the end, But they don't show you a lot of stuff. Well, good, Prince, watch it. I'll buy the DVD and then you can borrow it. There is violence, but like people are like cut by a knife. They don't show the actual cutting. They show the after effects, and somebody's stabbed with a knife. And again, they don't show the actual stabbing. They show the after effects of it. So, well, Prince, it is an interesting movie. It is an interesting movie. I'm not making it sound like anything. Well, it should be playing in California, IA. True, that's what I was thinking. I was like, if this was a bigger budgeted film, they might have been able to do a bit more. Like the locations, like everything else is fine. It's just, it might have been a bit more. Yeah, see, on my phone it says Ali, A-L-I, with a capital A. But you wrote Cali, C-A-L-I. For some reason, the C does not show up on my phone. It has a symbol instead. But it capitalizes the A. I don't know why. It's been doing that for certain things. Yeah. Anyway. I do, like, I think it's why I feel like it's not as good. Yeah, see, I see Cali there. I don't know. I feel like it's not as good as I would have liked, just because I wish they would have done a bit more. But apparently it's already longer than the play by like 20, 30 minutes. Or 20 minutes maybe, 15, 20 minutes. So they already added some stuff to it. So, I don't know. It's definitely one of those, like I said, existential things. I feel like if it's a play, it's going to be a lot of talking and a lot of like head nodding to what's being said type of situations. But as a film, I kind of wish they did a bit more. Really hammer in the bad white people stick. It's funny because there's only 9 reviews for this movie. A lot of them are 10s, and then a lot of them are 1s. There's more 10s than 1s. And then there's more 1s than any other number except for 10. The 10's like this big and the 1 is this big. There's only 9 actual written reviews. So, but anyway, what grade am I going to give The Dutchman? Based on the play, The Dutchman, and the Slip. Sorry, I need to kick my stand there. Getting a little warm. Ugh. I am going to give it the race war score. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I really did like it, and it is thought-provoking. It could be a little better. It could have a bit more in it to really drive home the points that it's making. I like the supernatural stuff. I like the great angles and the sharp music. That's weird. You wrote C-S-I, right? Is that what you wrote? Because on my phone, it has that symbol again. It says A-N-D, and. It doesn't even try to say C. It says A-N-D. I don't know. I see, now I see C. I wrote C, but where you wrote C by itself, it just says A-N-D. And. I don't know. Maybe it's because you're an Android user. Who knows? But yeah. So I'm going to give The Dutchman an 8 out of 10. I think it's a very interesting film. It wasn't what I was expecting. I'm on desktop, sir. Yeah, well, you're still on a PC. Okay. It is good. It is good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's definitely a conversation starter. And like I said, I don't have anybody in my immediate life who would want to watch it. I mean, my brother might want to watch it, I guess. I guess because it's like it's deeper than it is. Like it promotes or provokes thought. and, you know, makes you think. So, well, my 8 is going to be a lot higher than the 5.3 that it's currently rated at. Which is crazy because, like I said, the 10s are so much higher than the 1s, but it's still at a 5. And there are 6, 7s, and 8s. I don't know. Yeah, it just could have been deeper. That's my complaint. It could have been deeper. So. Deeper. Although Genie only has a 5.9. Which was, I think it had a limited release in theaters. But anyway, so that's it for The Dutchman. We're going to switch now to our final movie of the night, which is Genie, which is a 2023 film starring Melissa McCarthy and, I'm going to butcher this man's name, Papa Essiedu, who plays Bernard. It sounds cool, but I gotta go. Bye. It also has Alan Cummings, and this is a remake of a 1991 film starring Alan Cummings, and he plays a different character in this version. It's probably part of his contract with Peacock, because he has that show Traitors on Peacock as well. So. It's okay, Prince. Let's see, description. This film is a fairy tale comedy about a workaholic man who enlists the help of a magical genie to help win his family back before Christmas. Rated PG. It's only an hour and a half. I did laugh out loud, you know? It wasn't as funny as I was expecting, because some of it is a little, you know, hallmarky comedy stuff. But there were some lines in there, because Melissa McCarthy is kind of hit or miss. Like sometimes her, like, sorry, I have like a hair in my eye. Sometimes she's a little slapsticky. It's a bit too slapsticky. Like it feels like she's trying super hard. But there are some really good lines in there that cracked me up. Like the line about Jesus. She's like, so explain to me what Christmas is, because she's a genie and she doesn't know what Christmas is. She hasn't been out of her container for 2,000 years. And he's like, oh, you know, it's a day where we, you know, celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. And she's like, Mary's kid? That was in the trailer and it cracked me up. That's why I watched it. She's like, Mary's kid? And he's like, wait, you know Jesus? She's like, yeah. It's not a lamp. It's like a jeweled box. And she's like, well, what did he do that made him so famous? And he was like, oh, well, it turns out he's actually the Son of God. And she's just like, oh, huh. She's like, he was always saying that. I didn't believe him. And there's like some other little jokes about her knowing Jesus when she was out of the thing in the past, and it's very funny. People will probably think it's sacrilegious, but it's funny. But it is a standard holiday comedy film, feel good type of film that, you know, everything works out well in the end and all that. Everybody's happy and lovey-dovey. So it is very much that. But there are quite a few funny jokes in there. I'm not into holiday movies, no. And you would think I wouldn't be into this, because it's literally about him getting his family together for Christmas. But it's not I don't know, obviously it's a Christmas film. But, I mean, I watched Terrifier, and I watched Gremlins. Those are Christmas movies. And I watched Die Hard. It's a Christmas movie. But yeah, so basically he works for Cummings, yeah, with an S. His character, Mr. Flaxman, and he's like an art dealer type of situation. And he misses his daughter's birthday. The wife ends up leaving him for a temporary break, and he has this jeweled box in his house, and he like blows the dust off of it, and then poof, out comes Melissa McCarthy in a crazy outfit, like she's from like BC medieval, I don't know, Scottish Highlands. She's like reddish hair with braids in it and stuff. She looks like she's like Zero. What's that movie? Zero Horizon, or that game with the mechanical animals on PlayStation? She looks like that, but Melissa McCarthy. Something Horizon. It's just like, what on earth? She has some really fun costume changes when she's trying to pick a new look. The little montage sequence, that was funny. But basically, he has unlimited wishes to do whatever he wants. He can't travel through time, and he can't change people's feelings. Those are the rules. You can't travel through time, you can't change people's feelings. So you can't make somebody love you. You could do things to influence them to love you. Zero Dawn, is that what it is? Okay. Yeah, she had like the hair like that, and it just looked crazy on her because, you know, she's short and a little heavier, and it just looked so funny. She had like tattoos and stuff, which they kept them on her the whole time. So he has infinite wishes, but there's like a caveat with the wishes, kind of like, you know, be careful what you wish for type of situation. And there are issues with it. Like, I didn't like the lack of continuity. Yeah, love spells don't work. So she's supposed to be trapped in this container for 2,000 years, but one of the first things she says is sleazeball, which is not a word that she would know. But they do have it when she gets out of the container. She's speaking in like a different language, kind of like maybe like a Gaelic type of speech or something. And then she like changes her language to be American English. Even though the Bernard character is not American, he has an accent, probably British. Okay, well, you have fun. I'm going to finish this up, and then I will be doing whatever I want to do. Okay. Yes, he's British. That's true. We'll see if anybody else takes your top spot as #1 fan. But so anyway, so he's, you know, they go on a shopping spree, very much like holiday stuff you would expect. Bye. They go to Bloomingdale's. It's all very much. It takes place in New York, and it's all very much New York-y stuff. Walking down the New York streets and looking at the New York buildings and going to the New York stores. And since this is an NBC Peacock film, they're at Rockefeller Center, and you see the big tree and the gold statue behind them. Like, it's all very New York, and I like that. There is a weird thing they did, though. A lot of the time, they would put things out of focus, but only part of the things. I understand putting things out of focus when you're like showing the street, so you're not like seeing people's faces or whatever. But they did it when they were doing like the swooping city shots, where they show like, you know, the whole city in between scenes, and they would do it so like the bridge was in focus, but then this wasn't, but then something back here was in focus. So things that wouldn't be in focus together because of the distances they are to the camera. Like, it was like an artificial focusing on these different things. It did have an effect where it made a lot of things look like miniatures, which I thought was kind of cool. But it just thought it was weird overall to do that whole weird focusing thing. And it was mostly at night. So I thought that was odd. I did talk about her inconsistencies with her knowledge, But I mean, I guess she's a magical genie, so she can do whatever she wants, really, technically. So, like when he asked for pizza, she didn't know what pizza was, but she made it, and then she ate the pizza. She's like, "What is this? Red bread?" And then she ate it. She's like, "Oh my god!" So that was kind of funny. But I guess it's just kind of the thing. Like she can grant your wish, doesn't, but she doesn't have to know what she's granting, kind of type of situation. Um, and it goes through the normal beats of a holiday movie, holiday rom com type of movie where he tries some things, they don't work, he gives up, then he has that epiphany, and then he tries it again, and it kind of works, but doesn't work the way he wants, and he tries it again, and everything's happy. So it goes through that whole general expected situations. There are some funny moments with his family where he very freely tells people that she's a genie, which I thought was interesting. But the family who's bickering with each other, they start making wishes about each other. So like the one guy gets sent to hell. She's like, I wish he would just go to hell. And then poof, he's in hell. And then they're like, is somebody going to wish him back from hell? And they all look at each other like, fine, I wish he's back from hell. And he comes back and he's like on fire. It was ridiculous. I will say I did not like the actress who played his wife or his daughter. Like they're okay. They feel very Tubi to me. So the wife character, apparently she's in the Gilded Age, which is interesting. I wonder how she is in that. But I felt like she was smiling a lot. Like she was like, I can't do this anymore. I need more out of our marriage. And it's like, why are you smiling when you're saying that? It was very odd. And then the daughter character, they didn't write her very well. What did she say? She called her dad like a bastard or something. And I'm like, could we not have that be what she's saying? Like he was like winning her over or something. And she's just like, yeah, he's not much of a bastard anymore. And I'm just like, okay, because for starters, it doesn't make sense for her to call him that, because the mother doesn't feel that way. She's not saying these things about him. She doesn't hate him at all. He's just absent because he's always working too much, and he missed his daughter's birthday, and the relationship just isn't functioning. But she doesn't hate him. It's very explicitly shown that she loves him with all her heart. Like she's not cheating on him. There's nothing like that. She even says it to her mother, to how much she loves him. So there's not animosity there. So for the daughter to just come up with that somebody told her that he's a bastard makes no sense whatsoever, and I didn't really care for that. I just think it's like, in this kind of movie, I think it was a little gross for the daughter to say that. Plus, I'm from the old generation where your kid shouldn't be calling you a bastard. So that's just me though. But anyway, so Melissa McCarthy was good. I like the guy who played the dad, Papa Asidou. There's some SNL alumni in there as well. Ellen Cleghorn, who was in Saturday Night Live, and Ego Nwondim. I'm not saying her name wrong. The one who just left SNL, she's in there. Louise Guzman's in there briefly. Mark Maron is in there. Also said Alan Cummins in there. So it's an interesting cast. It's basically a TV movie though, so the effects aren't the greatest, but they're not the worst. They're not the worst effects. Like I said, there are some, you be careful what you wish for situations. So he wishes for a piece of art, but it's the actual piece of art. So now that piece of art is missing from a museum. So, be careful what you wish for type of thing. It's like if you wish for $1 million. But that's the thing, like, so she doesn't say that when she makes the wishes, so I don't think it's actually a thing. Like if he asked for $1 million, I don't think that the $1 million would go missing from a bank and appear at his feet, I don't, because it's not a mean-hearted film. So I think it's more that he asked for that painting specifically, and that's why she made that painting specifically appear. So if you were to say, you know, I want the statue of David in my yard, she would make the actual statue of David in your yard because there's only one. If you said you want a recreation of the statue of David, then you would have a recreation of it. So it's just about being a bit more specific with your wishes. But I don't think that if you were to ask for $1 million, she would steal $1 million from the bank or from someone and have it traceable back to you. But I don't know because he didn't ask for money. He said it himself. He didn't need money. So, and then of course it makes you think. I mean, it makes me think. What would I want with unlimited wishes? You know, what would be your goal with unlimited wishes? And I don't really know. You know, because obviously you're gonna have to tell people what you're wishing for, right? I mean, I could wish for my friend to win the lottery for himself, right? That'd be a big, huge, amazing thing. But I don't know. Wouldn't you want to win the lottery yourself? No. But then that changes your whole life, for better or for worse. So who knows? What about you? What are your wishes? Tell me down in the chat. I mean, like I said, overall, I had a good time with it. I laughed. I did cry a little bit because, you know, it's a little cheesy stuff. It's not a great movie whatsoever, but it's a perfectly fine holiday film. Get you a little emotional, get you a couple laughs in there. You know, I found a bit more funny than probably some people do, but it's a perfectly decent film that I think that it's probably not going to become a classic. But if people were scrolling and they saw it and thought, you know what, that might be okay, they'd probably enjoy it. So, but yeah, so that's Genie. I mean, that's a really quick review for it. It's like a lot of it is very standard fanfare. So it's not crazy camera angles or stuff like that. It's not crazy cinematography. It's not a crazy soundtrack. It's Christmas songs. They're more soulful version of the Christmas songs, which was nice. But like I said, it's nothing that's gonna, you know, oh my god, this is an instant classic film. And plus, like I said, it's a remake of a 1991 film, but it is remade by the same person, or written by the same person. So it is, again, accepted for. Oh, the director of this directed The Dictator. Oh no, he was on The Dictator as additional crew. That's interesting. He has a lot of additional crew positions, and then he directed this movie. So I don't know. Listen, perfectly fine, sufficient film. I'm probably just gonna give it probably a 6, maybe a 6.5. Like I said, it's not groundbreaking, but I enjoyed my hour and a half with it. Would I watch it again? Probably not, unless somebody else wants to watch it. But other than that, I probably would never touch it again, as I usually do with most movies. So, Genie, Melissa McCarthy, 6.5. I'll think about it more when I'm actually writing the little review on IMDb. So, and that's our final movie for the night. So let's go ahead and recap what we've talked about here tonight. We talked about Primate, which we gave a 4.5 out of 10. Great practical effects, but otherwise, it's just, you're just waiting for the next kill because the rest of the film is very boring. Wicked for Good, a decent sequel to the first movie, not as fun, obviously it's a bit darker, has some pretty big pacing issues, but still an enjoyable film, 7 out of 10. The Dutchman, a existential thriller drama about race relations in America, with some supernatural elements that we really did enjoy. Give that an 8 out of 10. And then of course Genie, we're probably going to give about a magical genie who grants wishes to a man who wants to reconnect with his family on Christmas time. We're giving it 6 to 6.5. And those are our 4 movies for the week. Next week will be another movie review. There is not a mystery movie, so I believe we're going to watch Parasite, which was the community choice, or runner-up, technically community choice, but now #1 community choice. So we'll probably going to do that next week. Remember to like the video and subscribe now so you can join that part of the community when we do polls so we can answer those questions. I do a lot of the Regal mystery movies, but I don't do them all always. Well, actually, I do them all always. We're starting this year to branch out a bit more from the mystery movies. When 28 years later Bone Temple comes out, we will review that. I'm hopefully seeing Avatar Fire and Ash very soon, finally. And I'm going to watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure on January 20th. So yes, that's going to be it for tonight, guys. Thank you for hanging out and watching. I'd like to thank my top fan, Prince Junio. Second place is Peyton is Tired. Third place is Fe Cabron Espanol. And fourth is Brian. Thank you guys for hanging out. And I hope I see you again next week for our premiere of our next video and also our little shorts. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon.